I'm retiring from making predictions because I don't know what in the hell is going on here at Worlds. Welcome in, everybody. I am Belligerent. This is the Q episode something or other, but we are going to discuss what's going on in Worlds here. I'm not going to recap each series, at least not right now. Still trying to, we'll kind of recap what happened. If you missed it, Tribe beat Cloud9. I would call that an upset, and Ace beat Impunity. Some people might think that's an upset now, the way the two teams have been playing, but coming in, everybody thought Ace was gonna just dominate people. They haven't shown up as much as everybody thought, but you still got to say that they were the favorites going into this. So that was your results from the quarterfinals. And I don't know what I watched. So we saw Cloud9 and Tribe. They came out. Tribe dominated game one. And then Cloud9 came back and was getting dominated in game two. But then Old School showed everybody why you like to ban Vox against him. And just took 3 team fights. I'm not going to say all on his own because Gabe Vizzle had some amazing gauntlets and all of that. Joseph felt a little off to me the entire series. So they tied it up 1-1. But then Tribe just took it to him. We didn't see the same C9 that we've been seeing. And it to me, it almost looked like a totally different team. Like they weren't in it mentally. There was definitely something going on there. And I got to ask this question. Are main, quote unquote, main scrim partners good for esports teams? Because let's face it, this is not the first time we've seen this. Right, going into the spring championships in London, C9 and TSM were main scrim partners, and TSM was the heavy favorite going in, just the way that they dominated the spring season, and they looked like they were on a mission after having come in second at the last World. They were just on a mission this year, and they were just rolling people. And even before, all the way up to the first match of TSM versus C9 starting there in London, I don't think there were many people that thought C9 had a chance. But C9 was TSM's main scrim partner, and there'll be 100 different ways that people will come at this, 100 different excuses. But there's a reason that, like, in professional sports, you hide what you're doing. There's a reason that, and I know it's a little different, right? In like professional sports, they have practice squads and they have scout teams and they have the manpower to be able to practice on their own and hide things. And it's a little tougher in esports and things like that. But the Cloud9 we saw last night was not the same Cloud9 we've been seeing in this tournament. And yes, I know everybody will point the finger at weaker competition in their group. Okay, they didn't have the strongest group. Nobody's arguing that. They weren't really challenged by hunters. Nobody's arguing that. But they just really looked dominant. And then they came out against Tribe and looked like they didn't know how to play. So I wonder, is it really smart to let a team, especially because, the top teams like to scrim the top teams to get the biggest challenge. But then you have, like, your biggest adversary knows you better than everybody else. And you could see it in C9's draft, okay? And look, before I get into this line of thought, I don't want to take anything away from Tribe. I've been saying it all along. We don't know who Tribe is. Tribe needs to be challenged. Tribe needs to prove themselves. Tribe proved themselves. So all props go out to Tribe right now. Okay? They took that, like, I thought C9 was going to go through this world championship kind of the way Phoenix Armada went through last year, just dominating people. I really did not think Tribe stood a chance going into this match. I just really didn't think that. But, they showed up and they proved that they could take it to Cloud9. Okay, so I want to give all props to Tribe. I know I've been kind of skeptical of them throughout kind of the course of this year. And it's nothing, it's nothing personal against that team. And I've gone through this explanation before. They came out of challengers. Everybody was like, they're world beaters. I'm like, let's just wait, because all they've done is beat challenger teams, right? And then they come through the challenge battles and they barely skirt in, right? It goes down to the last match. Meanwhile, team like Rogue already had their spot locked up. Hammers already had their spot locked up. There was a very realistic chance that if they had lost in that last match, I don't remember exactly how it played out, but I do know that it came down to the last series in challenge battles, and had they lost, they weren't getting in. So I was still skeptical of them, and they didn't show up until like the very, the very last opportunity that they had this season. And, they barely skirt in as like the wild card. And now everybody is going to feel like the wild card was justified. And, frankly, it is. But still, I mean, you come in as a wild card. So... and then everybody says, oh, they took out last year's champions, but let's be real, right? That's like, you can say TSM isn't in here anymore, right? Last year's number 2 team isn't in here anymore, but that Rocks Armada squad is not the same squad. Just like I wish everybody would stop calling this Tribe squad the Immortal squad and comparing what they did when they were Immortals, because Zio was the only one that was there. In like they keep saying, and I'm sorry, I know that Max Green and T Tigers were part of Immortals, but I'm talking about when they refer to the match against G2 being personal. It's personal for Zio, and there were some people that pointed that out, but they're talking about, this is, G2 is the team that took out. No, they didn't take out that squad. They beat the organization Immortals, but frankly, they're not the organization anymore. I wish at some point you got to get past that. But anyway, man, so C9, in my opinion, really, they really outthought themselves in this draft. And you know what? I think that's because they're quote unquote main scrim partners. They really outthought themselves, right? Like you look at the first match, and they first pick Adagio, and then they second pick Vox. They're trying to target Zio. Meanwhile, because you're overthinking that, you end up giving Tribe both Rona and Blackfeather, who in 210 are probably the 2 strongest heroes. They just totally outthought themselves in the draft. And, I sent a few messages back and forth with Ian while they were playing. And, I made some comments. I'm not going to share them or anything, but I made some comments about, their draft and stuff like that, asked some questions or whatever. And, he gave me some responses, and a lot of it surrounded was formed around the fact that these two were main scrim partners and they knew each other. So they were, Cloud9 just this whole entire tournament, they have been playing their game, right? They didn't worry about what the other team drafted. They let the other team draft, and they countered it, and they made sure to take power picks away from the other team. To me, they just really outthought themselves in these drafts. That could very easily have been a 3-0 instead of a 3-1. Because match 2, Old School shows up and makes argument for just God mode and taking those last 3 team fights. But if he doesn't do that, or if Zio opts for Metal Jacket over the Poison or the Shiver Steel in the first place, instead of waiting till the end of the match to sell it off and buy armor, they may not have taken a game off of Tribe. Tribes, we all know and think of Cloud9 as just the drafting geniuses, right? And Tribe, in my opinion, made Cloud9 look like amateurs. To me, that's how bad those drafts were. And it showed. It showed in the way that they played. It showed in the way that they were able to execute. But it's more than just the draft, right? I'm not putting it all on that. It's not like they had horrible drafts. I think Tribe won every draft from my recollection. I didn't write down notes about what the drafts were. But I know they gave Tribe Rona Blackfeather in game 1. They gave him Rona Koshka in game 2. They gave, and then, it's like, I'm sitting here, I'm watching this, and I'm like, guys, you have to make them beat you. Like, you want to put all of this emphasis on Churnwalker or all of the, taking away Zeo stuff, or, you at this point, you have to, going into game 3, I'm like, you have to make them beat you with somebody who is not named Rona or Koshka. Like, giving T-Tigers Koshka at this point is retarded. I hope Ace was taking notes because, I've known this since, spring season when I was coaching Gangstars, and they destroyed us. And at that point I wasn't uber familiar with the pro scene. I didn't know the ins and outs of all of the players and who they like to play and who they're really strong on. And like, I didn't know that T-Tigers was a Koshka god, and I learned that really quick. And I don't care, you don't give T-Tigers Koshka. I don't care how much out of the meta she is. I don't care you just don't leave Koshka on the board for T-Tigers. You just don't. Ever since Grumpjaw took his nerf, there's just not a counter to Koshka as far as early game goes. And we saw that. And I was like, you have to make them beat you with somebody other than Rona and Koshka. But that doesn't mean you put Old School on Rona. Like, give Joseph Koshka, yes, please. But Old School, no. Just ban Rona. Like, stop outthinking him. Just ban Rona. And they didn't. They put Old School on Rona. And he had a few moments where I thought they were going to be able to gain some ground in that match 3, but then there were just some questionable calls, and I think a lot of that is just, Old School not knowing how to play Rona, not being familiar with Rona. I mean, Old School, when he gets his heroes, Vox, Adagio, and even Sky, and that's the thing that blew my mind in match 1 and match 2. Well, not match 2, because Tribe instantly banned Sky. They said that we were going to take Rona, and they still give him Rona because they were more worried about the Churnwalker. Argument for another day. But in match 1, Sky's wide open. Sky counters Rona, and Old School plays a fucking amazing Sky. But you drafted Adagio first, and you drafted Vox, and so now you can't fit Sky into that comp now. Like, for me, the C9 draft was just overthought, just way overthought in my opinion. But it was more than that. I mean, you could see it in the players. Like, you could see it, they even mentioned it on stream. You could see Old School's body language. After match 1, he was just down. And then, I thought after match 2, I thought it was over for Tribe. Like, I really going into match 3 before the draft, but after match 2 ended in the way that Cloud9 won that game, and the way that Old School single-handedly almost, again, not single-handedly, but the way that Old School just showed up and just took that game over, I thought that the momentum had totally swung back in the favor of C9. I thought they were going to gather themselves. I thought they were going to get their mentality back, and then they put him on Rona. Like, he just oh my God. Like, he just had this this history-worthy match. Like, I mean, those should be used for Old School highlights for years to come if he's still playing this game. And then you put him on somebody like Rona, where he just can't keep that momentum going. And I know. He did win once with it in the spring championships over in London. He did. But look, we know old school's hero pool, and that's fine. Like, they draft around that, right? We pick we pick for old school first. That's fine. If I were them, in like, you almost gotta, like, you pick Sky first. Like, he's amazing on Sky. But Tribe was just so good in their draft. Like, they bait in game 3, they bait Cloud9 into taking the Rona by banning Sky. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They banned, I forget who they banned. But they left the Rona on the board. And then C9 just jumped on it. They're like, we're not giving you Rona anymore. And Tribe's like, that's fine. We wanted you to take it. We're going to take Sky. Like, I have not, I can't recall seeing Cloud9 get out drafted this bad in a long time. But again, it was more than that. Like, Joseph just wasn't Joseph. I saw something on Twitter where he was talking about not quite being there mentally, being sad or something like that. But you could see it in his play. He just wasn't like Joseph. He was just kind of like, he just looked like an average jungler. T Tigers was making him look like an average jungler, and T Tigers is amazing. And, according to Scoundrel, he's probably the best jungler in the world. No, not probably, maybe the best jungler in the world, for some decisive statements there. No, I love Scoundrel. Gave him a little crap about that on Twitter, but it was all in fun. I hope he knows that. But, I mean, T Tigers is amazing. But so is Joseph. But T Tigers made Joseph look like challenger level in this match. And it wasn't all T Tigers. A lot of it was T Tigers, but it wasn't all T Tigers. A lot of it was the draft. You're going to give T Tigers Koshka and then not give Joseph somebody who can compete with it. And I just, they're like, I don't know what happened. And part of me feels like, at least what I've seen from Cloud9, is that when they're not as experienced with the team that they're playing, they just do their thing and they dominate. And when they struggle, they struggle against the TSMs and the tribes, because these are like their quote unquote main scrim partners, and they overthink things. And sometimes I feel like they go into these matches beat before it starts, which is surprising, the way that they dominated everybody at like live championships and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like, I think teams have to seriously, like, look, we don't know what the future of Vainglory is going to be. We don't know if this 5v5 is going to take off and keep Vainglory relevant and turn them into just this powerhouse of mobile esports, or if Vainglory is reaching the end of its time and we're going to go through one more season with 5v5, but it's going to kind of putter out. We don't know. But if it continues on, I mean, and I don't have any experience with other esports or anything like that, but I really think that teams are going to have to start looking at how they practice and how they train and who they scrim and what they show. Because I got to tell you, just, from my competitive background, not in esports, but just like in sports in general, you don't give the opponents anything. Right? Like, all these teams are so worried about keeping their scrim secret, but you're giving that team that you're scrimming all of this information on you. And I really wonder if that's... I don't even think I wonder. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think that played a huge factor in this match, C9 versus Tribe. Because this was not the C9 we saw in day 1 and day 2. And yes, I know, not the level of competition that Tribe, but Tribe has dropped some games. Cloud9 just looked like a team that was playing on a different level. And then last night, they came out looking like a team that didn't even belong at Worlds. So I don't know. So anyway, going into we go in tonight. We get to see Cloud9 versus Impunity, which I called, by the way. I just said it was going to be in the finals, not the third place match. But we get to see the third place match tonight. We get to see the 5v5 unveiling and this King of the Hill thing that they're going to be doing with the 5v5 stuff. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up on this last day of the World Championships. And then we get to see Tribe versus Ace. And I didn't get to watch all of the matches, but from what I did see, Ace looked very dominant against Impunity. Kind of looked like the Ace that we expected to see from everybody. So I really hope that we get some good matches. Tribe versus Ace. I really do. I'm not going to do predictions. I retire from predictions. What happens. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Here on the podcast, we can go back, we can analyze it, whatever. We'll go back and recap it, but I'm done doing predictions. I don't do predictions anymore. It's just an effort and futility. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't they almost need to adopt the NFL moniker, right? Any given Sunday, right? On any given Sunday, any team can beat any other team. So we get to see Tribe versus Ace. We get to see, at least for us here in NA, we get to see an NA team, probably not the one most of us thought was going to be, but we get to see an NA team versus just the team that everybody thought was going to be there, right? Ace. So everybody thought Ace was going to be there. Everybody thought Ace was going to be just dominating people the way Cloud9 dominated people. They haven't this tournament, but we get to see this EA giant, and we get to redeem ourselves. Like, I picked Impunity to go or make it to the championships. I was wrong. It would have been a great story, but that's not really what us in NA wanted, right? We want that redemption story, right? We want to prove that NA is greater than EA. And last year, EA just destroyed us. This year, our hopes come down to Tribe. Tribe is a very strong team. I feel almost like, though, that it feels like they play stronger against teams they're familiar with. And I guess that's probably common sense. Duh, right? If we know you better, we're going to play you better. But I mean, when you look at a team like Cloud9, like what I was saying earlier, they seem to play stronger against teams they don't know, because then they don't focus on who exactly they're looking at. They just do their thing, and they control the draft, and they make you play their game, as opposed to worrying about who to target, things like that. It just feels that way. I'm probably wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things, but it just feels like Cloud9 performs better against teams they're less familiar with. Tribe seems to play better against teams they are familiar with. I mean, look at how dominant they looked against Cloud9. But they struggled, with some teams earlier in this tournament. So, we'll see how it goes. Obviously we are rooting for Tribe here in NA, right? We want our region to be the best. We want that redemption story. We get the chance for that redemption story, and now Tribe needs to bring it home. Yeah. And Zio, we're still waiting to see this scarf. Like, we all want to see your scarf, bruh. So let's bust it out. Let's find a place to put the scarf in here and make it work, right? You teased it on Twitter. We got to see this scarf. We want to see scarf. Pick scarf. I don't care if you lose doing it. Pick scarf. So yeah, crazy night. Just like, it's kind of shocking. I think everybody is a little shell shocked, because I think even Tribe fans thought that Cloud9 was going to put up a better fight than what they did. And even in the match that they won, they just got dominated for most of that match. So yeah, I think let's talk about the big thing. I think everybody's excited to see 5v5 coming, right? Finally, the unveiling of 5v5. Now, I already know what it looks like, at least to a certain degree. I haven't, I've been sick and I've been, dealing with work and dealing with a lot of stuff. So I haven't been able to participate in the beta sessions of 5v5 a lot recently. So there's been a lot of changes that I don't know about, but I already know the gist. I know what the map looks like. I know a lot of the new items, but I'm really excited to see some professional teams getting into this. Who's Renegades? I forget, they come from some region, right? I forget what region they come from. I don't know this team, but hey, I'm excited to see 5v5. We get to see, TSM kind of left us early in this tournament, but at least we get to see them participate in 5v5. We get to see Shinkagen playing next to Flash X again. Gotta be excited for that. So, all of the hype is on tonight. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're excited to see. Like, comment, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter. Get in touch with me. Let me know what's going on in your mind, peoples. I am Belligerent. This was the Q. Peace.